Hey, how are we doing? I was ready. I figured I would hop right on into it. Everything looks like it's okay from this end on here. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. I see we got a lot of comments in here already. Wasn't planning on running so early, but I was ready, and I'm going to have to cut it off right at about 8 o'clock. Try to keep it to an hour today. I do have something going on, phone conversation I've got going on tonight, so just to shoot that out there. Um, a few things that I wanted to talk about first, which manage payments. Now, everybody should have gotten an email. If you haven't, you either are on it or you'll get one any day now. I got one, I think, 2 days ago. And I've also had conversations with some people, and there's some comments that I haven't had a chance to comment on. Now, I've said this before. With managed payments, with the store I share with you, I will pay more under managed payments than I would if I was just doing it the way I am now on that store. Just putting that out there straight off the bat. eBay states that most people will save money. I personally don't see it if you sell much, especially with the tax, the way they're doing the taxes and charging the fees and all that. The issue with me in that is that, there's a way to fix it. I got a video on that. I'll talk about it in another video as well, too. There's a per item fee that you now pay under managed payment. And I sell sometimes 20. I've sold 110 items to one person in one listing here at the same time. Hang on here. It says my settings aren't right. Hang on just a second here. Let's see if I can fix that without messing up too much. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. Video. Yeah, it looks like it's cranking me to drop me to 1280 by 720, which is annoying because it should not do that. But anyway, we'll hop back to the conversation here. I guess I can't fix that right now. Always something with YouTube and their broadcasting. I know I'm broadcasting at 1920, but anyway. Totally lost my train of thought on that one now here. Let's holler out now. Think about where I was at in another minute here. Let's see who's on here. Marian Hammers, how are you doing this evening? Hopefully you are doing well. Carl, boo. What's the boo for? Gabe, how are you doing, Gabe? There's Duncan from Australia. I was just looking at a couple commercials from Australia. You might see one in a future end of the videos coming up soon. Vintage ones is the only ones I really like to use personally. Most commercials, there could still be copyright issues and things like that, but anyway. I now have to courier my stock from England via Cincinnati, Ohio, via Honolulu to get to Sydney. My small mail outs to buyers. Huh? That's pretty bad. Getting to UK in 2 to 5 weeks, but I have warned every buyer. Have to order thousands of dollars in premium stamps in one hit now. Yeah, you were probably getting them in week by week and stuff like that too. I do have what Duncan has, and I have a couple that help us out with stuff like this too. We've got people that are basically like a business that track down things for us. It's kind of like a bigger picker, I guess. Some other business that does it as a business is more so than just one person, I guess you could say. They may have a couple people that source a bunch of stuff from big, huge bulk sales and warehouses. They may travel the country and buy just massive quantities of stuff, and then they'll divvy it up to their clients, and that's how it comes to be. That's what he has. Now, I've got a couple that do that too. One was a deal on buttons for those in Patreon. You saw a whole bunch of buttons. I got like 130 pounds worth of buttons between a couple people that I was buying from. They're all military, all pretty much like World War I or before, with most of them being like 19th century uniforms. I got a bunch of Civil War buttons too, and I mean a bunch. Patreon, you saw those already. I got 400 good Civil War buttons, legit by Tice's booked Civil War buttons. But anyway, let's back over here. We'll cut back into the fees again in just a minute here. Let's see who else is here though. Do you leave seasonal items up all year round, or do you relist them after that time frame passes? Like when you have Christmas items left over, do you let them stay listed? Holiday stuff sells all year round for me. Don't mix up seasonal with holiday. Seasonal being like a winter jacket. I'm not going to keep winter. I don't sell clothing, but when we did, I didn't keep up as many winter stuff. I usually did mix my inventory up at that point because it's not going to sell. I know people say like winter coats could sell any time of the year, but you're drastically limited just by sheer shipment cost out of the country. A good winter jackets can be £5 or more, and that puts it over first class international. And then your best way to go on something like that is probably global priority, maybe. I don't know. I don't usually send stuff out that big overseas. Usually it's £4 or less to keep it in the first class international rate. That's me. But collectibles, holiday collectibles, everything that's vintage, that's Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Valentine's Day for sure, stays up all year round. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I saw Christmas stuff yesterday. I sold 3 or 4 Christmas items to 2 different people. Today I sold a Halloween postcard. So it doesn't matter to me, any of that stuff, what time of year it is. A Christmas collector collects not because it's Christmas time, but because he likes Christmas stuff, so he's going to buy them all year round. In Michigan, there's a place called Frankenmuth, Michigan, and it's got like the world's largest Christmas shop. It's Christmas there all year round. All it's missing is the snow and the cold in the summer to be Christmas time up there. Literally, the shops up there with the ornaments are pretty impressive. They've got bed and breakfasts and cabins and stuff with hot tubs and all that stuff up there. It's a nice place to go. It's kind of like Hocking Hills, for those of you who know down here, or like going up to Mackinac Island or something up there, for those of you who like to travel. Nice, excellent place, Mackinac Island. Yeah, shipping has been a nightmare. I had to file my 3rd missing package I filed now. I haven't had any issues up until now. The first one, they actually contacted me back and found it. And then 2 days later, it was in my possession. I was very happy about that. But now I've got one that hasn't had a scan in 20 days that I'm still going back and forth with. First, you're supposed to file an inquiry, and then after so many days, then you're supposed to go in and do the actual lost item. But, at this point, I'm not out anything yet, but I'm crossing my fingers that they find them. One of them is a medium mail item, so, it may be lost and I may have to refund the guy, even if he doesn't get it. But, so be it. It almost never happens. It's not even a blip in my category of anything here. Sales right now, I'm flying with sales. I mean, I've even been able to still purchase from some of my contacts via mail. They'll send me a picture of something, and then they'll box it up, and it'll sit there for a few days before I open it, and I'll just go from there. So source-wise, I've been able to get as good a stuff as any time of the year I can get right now still. It's more small stuff, it's box stuff, and it's them that have been waiting around to pick up. Now, there are, in some areas, people that are still allowed to source and pick, so just keep that in mind. In some states, that like the lockdown doesn't affect home-based businesses if it's in your function of doing the duties to run your business. So that could mean running out and meeting somebody at a grocery store to pick up an item. Again, I'm not saying just go ahead and do it, but in some places it's not an issue, just FYI. Regular mail is held in UK for weeks and not coming through. About 15 parcels I'm firm in limbo, so have to courier now. Courier is a headache, or it can be, at least the times we've done it. We're waiting on something from overseas right now that was sent, and I wish I could remember the name. I want to say it starts with a B, Bertram or something like that. There's a couple other UK-only shipping companies. We have an account with one of them. It's a UK company we have an account with, but that ship, and sometimes their delays are horrendous. I don't know if they use some other service. At the end of the day, it's delivered by the post office here, like it's just a regular post office piece, even though it comes courier across the sea, just FYI. But I pretty much answered that on the holiday. Hang on, my feed's all over the place too. hopefully everybody is doing well. Let's hop back over here. We're popping down here, and we'll go back to Duncan's last one on suppliers in just a second here. Fees is what we were talking about before. Fees on the new shipping, or not shipping, the new payment policy is what we were talking about. So in the fee aspect of it, I'm paying more. On anyone that I sell more than one item to, I pay more automatically, even if it's just the 30 cents or whatever per transaction. Now, to outweigh that, you just add a 25-cent or 30-cent handling fee per item that's sold. It's all automatic. You can do it in your settings, and you can set it up as in the template, so it automatically does it for every one of your listings all at once from business policies. Now, I've had a video about stuff that's available to some stores and not available to other stores. I do apologize that I didn't specifically stress which ones are which. I honestly didn't even think about that. I use the same store all the time. It was not my intention to make somebody madly look for something. But for business policies, if you have an anchor store and you don't have it, you have to give it access in the, I think it's site preferences. It may be under third-party app or something like that, but it's under site preferences, I'm almost sure. Once you give it permission, it's there. It's like an add-on, I think, is what I think it is now. When I did it, you just clicked a button and boom. So maybe I'll go back in and see if there's a way I can show you. I don't know if there is, again, because I already have it. And I don't really want to back out and then back in, because it takes, with as many listings as I have and with as many policies I have, a while to set up all those. I mean, I took like 3 or 4 hours to get all of my policies set, because you got to like move them from like just one standard category. You got to move them by categories and put them where it took a long time to set it all up. Once it's set up, it only takes a moment to do anything you want, you know. But that's just, I just wanted to touch on that, because it wasn't my intention to make people look all over the place on that. But business policies is the key on a lot of that stuff. Just add in a 25-cent handling fee in your shipping postage-wise. Just like I have another question, and that I had it quite a few times, probably a dozen or so in the last month, on foreign shipping. If I ship something overseas with a business policy, I don't know how it is in normal eBay life these days. I always use business policies and have for years, so I don't know how it is without a business policy. I'm sorry, I don't know. I haven't a clue. For me, I can set it up though with business policies where I can ship, you know, US wise, and do free return shipping 30 days, which is fine. That's what I do. I do free return shipping for 30 days if they're not happy with it for any reason for US. But overseas, with the policy, I can set it so overseas shippers have to pay return shipping, you know, unless obviously they claim it's not as described, and then you have to take it back regardless of your policy. It's another question I hear all the time is, why do I have to take it back? It's the policy. If they say it wasn't what you said it was, you know, you're stuck with it. Just like if they try to scam you without getting some basically admittance from them, or, you know, a police report or something, there's not much to do some of the time. You know, I'm not saying it's bad. I've won like almost every single case that I've ever had to deal with eBay, you know, but I ship through eBay, you know, so everything's tied in, and, you know, I don't have to worry about trying to come back and arguments or anything like that. You know, I like pirate ship and stuff like that. You know, I have an account, I just don't use it. Where are we at? I use suppliers who have boxes of stock of vintage letters and stamps. They can send me as much as I need, but their airport restrictions are really bad. Yeah, because they're only sending out essential certain items, I think. Pretty sure that's what I read, and that I did read. Somebody sent me something. I do talk to quite a few people from Australia, and there's 3, I think, in Patreon alone that are from Australia. Red River Group, how are you doing? Hey, Linda, how are you doing? Everyone is doing good. For those in Patreon, Marky was in that last live feed. Just FYI, she came in with the dog. She was taking a break from what she was doing. You're going to see the Weebles videos here in Patreon. The first one in Patreon for the first week. This weekend, I'm thinking you might see the first one. It's going to be several ones, but you're going to get to see like her collection, and it's a lot. It's a big collection, so it's just going to be all vintage Weebles. She doesn't collect any of the newer ones. Once Romper Room lost the line, or they ended it from what happened, you know, she doesn't mess with any of those. So it's all vintage, 70s and 80s only. But anyway. Jeffrey, how are you doing? John, how is John doing? Warren County, New Jersey. I've been in New Jersey. We were just watching a few minutes of Jersey Shore. I know I'm not trying to relate that to anybody, or you especially, but just comes to mind. Mia, how are you doing? Mark from California, one of my biggest states that buys for me. California, we sell a large chunk of our stuff. Of course, they have a large chunk of the population of the country is from California. Always happy to see a California sale because many times I can sell it for more money and sell more items too. Ventures in Reselling. Victoria, how are you doing? Stacy, how's Stacy? Balta, how is Balta doing? Manage payments not allowing bullion, coin, currency, or adult-only items. It's because of how it's processed from what I understand on that. Of course, they can pay it through, from what I understand, they can still use PayPal and pay it straight through. Other than that, I don't know, because the rest are tied to specific charge card companies. I'll have to actually look into that, because we do sell vintage adult magazines from like the 50s and 60s and stuff. I do sell coins and currency occasionally too, so I will look into that, and I'm going to have a video on the payments as well and cover what they have, because you have to schedule a date to set it up by July 17th, I think is the email that I got said. We knew it was going to come. I'm literally just going to add in the handling fee, as I said. And then if I lose a few cents in the added on charges on taxes, I guess so be it at this point. It might shake down differently. There may be some legal aspect with them charging us a final value fee on taxes. If I'm reading it right, that is what I am reading they are technically doing now, or will be doing. I'd have to go back and even look at the other account. I never pay much. It is what it is, I guess, is the point. You know, I can't change what eBay does with, you know, their payments. You know, they used to have PayPal as part of their own company. You know, it was basically the same thing that we're rolling into now. It would have made more sense for them to have not sold off PayPal and still had it. You know, they could have just kept PayPal from the start. Again, this is why I get so frustrated with them selling off stuff. PayPal's doing great. PayPal has gained 5 times, 6 times, you know, share revenue, while eBay's the same for all this years that they've had the split. So again, that's why I get so aggravated with them selling it, because it takes no consideration into making the company stronger. A company's stronger when it has assets, where even if something happens, they're still going to be viable. What was it, Neiman Marcus or something just filed for bankruptcy? Some major department store, I want to say. Maybe it's not Neiman Marcus, but I want to say American Eagle or something I saw the other day as well, too. I had just did a video like 2 weeks ago about the crash in clothing, and a lot of that ties back to these department stores. I'm telling you, it's going to happen to the retailers. If American Eagle, which is a clothing company, is crashing, the whole thing's going to crash. It's a given. And that's why I say that the clothing industry, again, it's not killing you right now, the clothing industry, but once they start to hit bottom and all that stuff starts to flood the markets with cheap stuff, because again, they got to get rid of it. You know, and if it goes to foreclosure, that stuff may be bought out by second-handers, you know, and like wholesale companies, and then you'll see it in, you know, like the local, like Burlington Coat Factory and stuff like that. That's what the inevitable run will be, or they'll sell them, their name brands, to lesser qualities and maybe relabel them with new tags or something, which is something they do too. You know, it's going to get ugly in some points. I'm not saying it's going to kill the market for clothing, but it's going to give you a more of a challenge than ever in my book. For what I sell, though, I am like on the top of the mark now for what we're selling. It's going very smooth and constant. I'm constantly busy. You know, we're not listing as much, but I'm selling so much stuff, you know, just oddball stuff. I got like 29 questions as of today, just since last night, that I haven't even had a chance to answer just on eBay about items, if that gives you anything. I try to answer them all, but it just takes so much time these days. Another reason why I can't even answer the messages when people leave comments. I'm going to do another video on comments, but I can't get to them all. I get people that get, you know, kind of mad about that, but there's no way I have time. I don't get anything monetary wise. I have to keep my business going. Obviously, I have no employees right now, so other than family, and they're doing it's finals week. So anyway. Yeah, as I said, Red River, I will look into that too. I'm curious on that too, on what it breaks down to. That, I mean, because Charge Card I can still sell. PayPal has affiliate links with what's it, MasterCard or Visa, one of the two, and it's got ties with them, and we can still sell and buy coins on PayPal, or through PayPal, I should say. Crazy Javier, no, that is a green screen. Hey, Disney Family 515, how are you doing? I've got a video, again, for patrons, because I keep seeing patrons right here. Good evening to everybody. I've got a video processing now, and then it'll be uploading the minute the show ends, so it may still be up tonight. I probably won't get to I think there's 4 emails in there that I'll answer first thing in the morning. It's been a busy day, man. I'm telling you, I spent like 2 hours going through a box that showed up today. Just a big, like 50 pounds worth of stuff we got. I check it all in. I'm very, very anal retentive about stuff like that. But hey, Aaron, how's Aaron doing this evening? Hopefully you're doing well. Nancy right below. Hello, Nancy. Sorry I missed you. Susan, how is Susan? Hey, Annie. I got Annie in the house too. Good evening, Annie. Hopefully you are doing well. No performances lately, I am sure, unfortunately. Kathy Ambler, how are you doing? From what I understand, the per item fee is going to be charged to per cart transaction they listened. I will have to see that, because that's not what I saw in the last reading I put. And this is from the site, and I didn't see an update after that. I'll go back and double check again, because I'm waiting to the last day that they give me to register it. I haven't had issues with the other account that has it, in all honesty, but I don't sell vintage. I don't sell, somebody's buying from one listing and that's it. They're not buying from different categories and different this and different that. So that brings into some question talking about coins and bullion and stuff like that. What if somebody buys from one category and then buys something else? Is that going to block the whole sale? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Believable Blessings, welcome. Bluegrass Picker. I was just listening to a bluegrass record today. Kristen Lamb, how are you doing? Regina, good evening, Regina. Everything has been going good. I am honestly quite surprised. It's not something I expected with everything going along. Even I went to the grocery store with the mask on today, and grocery store wasn't too bad, other than the fresh deli meats weren't out yet, but I don't know if they're putting them out or not. But anyway, other than that, it wasn't that bad. No boxed rice, or not instant rice wasn't there. They had no instant rice, no powdered milk. There's a bunch of things like that were out. Spaghetti sauce was gone. Tons of toilet paper. Nobleness D, how are you doing this evening? Midwest Picker, welcome there. Carrie, how are you doing? Do you ever do giveaways? I have done giveaways. Halloween, I gave away a $200 and some odd dollar, what do you want to call it? One of my trilobites. I gave away one of the hand-painted ones. I've given away a clown. I've given away postcards. Stuff like that is usually what I give away. There's rules and stuff when you do giveaways. You got to post a bunch of stuff at the bottom, and you got to have like some set rules when you do it. So part of the reason I've strayed away from doing those to the most extent. Again, everybody who watches the show knows I'm very particular about what I do and how I do things, and I don't want to get in trouble for something stupid like that. I've seen them shut down some channels that were giving away stuff and they weren't following rules. You can't do stuff that goes to certain countries, and if it was here, it could only be like U.S. and like part of Canada or something like that, if I remember right. Anyway, Frank, how are you doing today? John, how do you clean records, and what cleaning solution do you recommend? If you don't have a record cleaner, I have a couple record cleaners. In fact, I've been repairing a 1950s vacuum brush record cleaner here, and I'm probably going to show that in a video here, but just use some Dawn very lightly, get a damp cloth, and just get the tracks with the softest cloth you can find. I mean, it's like a sham or something would honestly be best. Make sure there's no dust or anything on it first. Blow it off first. I just have like a compressor. I have a 20-gallon tank that sits there, and make sure there's no particles and carefully wipe it off. Don't get the whole thing wet. Don't get the label wet. That's about it that you want to do if you don't have a cleaner. A record cleaner with the vac and all, it costs like $500-600 for a good one, but there's a solution in there that's just designed to do that, because some records are vinyl, some are styrene and stuff like that. You got to know the difference on some of those too. You got to be very careful too. If it's like an expensive record and you scratch it, one little scratch can ding $1,000 plus in the value. In fact, the video going up today in Patreon tonight, or first thing in the morning, is going to be on records, 45s. Let's see who's here. Dino, I ship to U.S. and Canada only. I used to do that, but I get more sales by shipping overseas. I ship directly, and I say this many times, I ship directly overseas to, Canada, of course, England, France, Germany, Sweden, Switzerland. I recently added Italy. I do Japan, Australia, and there's a couple people that I let ship straight in China now, because I've been shipping to them for a while through other means, through global shipping, and I haven't had any issues whatsoever. They left great feedback, and so I'm not doing like super high dollar items without some sort of insurance or something. But anyway, those countries are fairly safe. How much does your eBay sales gross in 1 year? I'm not going to give out that information. I don't look at. This is how I do my figures, and I know when you start off, I was just doing eBay. eBay was what matters. What I do these days, I've got an Excel spreadsheet. So, and I've got 10 platforms, 10 places where money comes in to the business at, and they all go onto a spreadsheet. I don't really much pay attention to them. It ties in with other sheets, so my expenses will pull right in, and at the end of the day, I look at a P&L statement, a profit and loss statement for the whole business. I don't care, so to speak, how much I make from eBay versus somewhere else. As long as my overall P&L, I'm in the green and that's increasing, that's what matters to me. If I'm not in the red and my profit margin is the same, I'm not dinging somewhere, I'm not losing some of my margin, and my sales keep increasing, that's what I worry about. I don't necessarily worry. I don't have a projection that I have to make so much. I mean, I do projections for sales, but I'm not motivated like many people are. I'm not one to brag on my figures. I've said them in older videos what we were making digit wise back then. I'll tell you for sure it's well into the 6 digits and has been for 8 years, something like that. It's just eBay. But obviously we make money from many different sources. I have an art company. We do art businesses. I do models, figures, castings, postcards, prints. I've done portraits and things like that even for people, even recently in modern day times. Whatever I can do, that's the point. It's a group business at the end of the day. I don't care what one site makes anymore. That's part of the reason why I talk about cross-listing a lot on multiple sites. Back in the day, it used to just be eBay. That was the only place you needed to worry about. The only place you should sink any of your time in 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. It's not that way anymore. So my income, my business, everything that pays my bills and feeds my wife and kids is put together from multiple different places. Maybe one only gets me $150 a week or so, like HIP or something like that. But it all adds up at the end of the day. So when you're in the green and you're looking at that P&L and the bottom line, that's what matters. 3% minimum increase year over last, week to week comparisons or month to month, whatever you're doing. So that's what I look at. That's the only thing that really matters to me. Shouting out a figure, I'm not one to brag and stuff like that. It means nothing if I'm just putting in some number there from one site. That's not where our money comes from. eBay has become less of our income than it ever has in the past. Again, because I had to broaden out to find where stuff's selling better and where I make a little more money. Like I might sell a certain item better on Amazon than I do on eBay, even vintage items. And I've said this, like 78 records I can sell for more money on Amazon, you know, depending on what they are. There's certain things that just sell better over there. There's certain things that will sell better on Amazon but that will take 4 or 5 times as long to sell. So you've got to, that's something you have to figure out, is what I should say. So anyway, I know I've rambled on from there, but that's something I usually don't give out numbers like that. I wouldn't ask anybody, just like if somebody doesn't, you know, I would never ask people their age and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just something that I would never do. Where are we at? Susan, how are you doing? How do I file it? What are we? How do you file what? I guess is my question. Let me slide down. Hopefully it doesn't. Yeah, it's gonna. My feed's frozen. Just a second. Any day it wants to work. Sorry, folks. There we go. Just a second. I want to try to get to questions because I know that's the biggest complaint about the show is that I don't get to everybody's question. I try to start from one side and work my way straight down without avoiding, you know, not answering something. Let's see here. Hang on. Where are we at? Oh, how do you file for it? Okay, Susan's talking about mail. Go to I have an account with the U.S. Postal Service. You can pay your box and everything else like that. We've got 2 P.O. boxes. Everything's set up online. You do your setups for your pickup, everything. I've had a post office online account on their webpage for, geez, I don't know, 8-10 years. But you go there and you file a claim. Now, there's 2 options. You can have I think it's an inquiry and then file. I just go straight to the file these days. I don't care what they say. If it's been a certain length of time and I'm getting packages, multiple packages arriving after a certain package, and it's been out of sight for 7 or so days, I automatically just file a report on it. But it's just going to ask you for the tracking, the address it's going to, and to confirm the date. But once you put the tracking in, it's going to say the date it was shipped on, as long as there's tracking showing up, at least some tracking. And then from there, that's all you got to do. It's just submit. Again, everything that I usually ship out goes straight through eBay, so everything's tied in. So there's no question about where the information came from. So anyway, I have had 2 missing mail items so far. Yeah, the one that's not showing, that's missing, I've got something coming in, is something I really want that I'll never be able to replace. So I'm not happy if it doesn't show up. It'll be a first. I don't know when the last time I've had something of ours not show up. I do, actually. It was my wife's master's degree diploma. It didn't show up, and it's $25 to have it resent. Just to have it resent. So I don't know. I'll take that back. It's her bachelor's diploma, not her master's. We have the master's on the wall. E. Jones, how are you doing? Susan, if you got that one lost, go to USPS, I think .gov, and just type in lost mail, and then you'll see 3 options, and click the one that says file, and it'll take you to the screen you want to go to. I mean, I just did one today. It took me a minute. Just have the page open so you can cut and paste. You don't have to type anything in. Cut and paste the tracking number from eBay and just pop it right on into the post office's site. It will populate the shipping date and the type of mail that it is. So that's all you need to do. And then I think it, as I said, it'll ask you again what the address it should go to if found, you know, who to contact and by which means, and then just click submit. I mean, it's literally one page. You scroll down to the bottom and hit submit once you fill it out. That's it. And as I said, for the first item, they left a email message with it and said they found it. Again, you can ask them to contact you via phone, but the email, they can click a form and it's easier for them. The phone call, in the past, I've never gotten a phone call back from the post office ever for any of that kind of stuff ever in my life. So I just deal with the email. Maybe they don't want to talk to people. I don't know. What's the hottest sales item right this minute are, type in like weightlifting and home gym stuff. All that stuff's going like mad, like 10 times what it was going for 2 and 3 months ago. That's probably one of the hottest items I have seen, like dumbbells, workout machines, spin cycles. All this stuff's hot. Even, in fact, we have some, and I just didn't want to sell them because we use them here occasionally, but like a spin mount for your bike, so you can mount your bike in the house and spin, on that. We've got a big screen, and we do that. The wife does that occasionally here. It's like a mount vise. You have to have a special rim on your bike to do that with, that's a removable rim with the rod. But anyway, long story short, we bike ride, pedal bike massively, or we used to before all this happened. But anyway, we do like 10 or 20 miles in a day, and then, go out for 3 hours to do that. And we'd stop and eat sometimes, me and the wife. Kids go sometimes. Those are literally hot. And we've talked about some of the other ones. Games are hot. Video games. I've got like 2 video games in house, and that's it. Between selling them on Amazon and eBay, man, they've just been flying out. So, and I've been selling the old stuff too. And I even got a shipment of games in, and those are already gone. I sold some in a lot, and the rest went individually fairly quickly. Anyway, there's still opportunities to buy, as I said. Right now, once this is done, there's going to be a lot of cheap stuff, is my take on this, because all the stuff's backed up now. There's going to be plenty of stuff to buy. No one's done garage sales. No one's done any of this stuff, and it's already well into garage sale season as well. So there's going to be a bunch of people, in my opinion, and the prices are going to be, you're going to be able to be picky on what you buy, in my book. I'm picky always, but I mean, everybody should be able to have that option. Hey, Carolina Pix, how are you doing this evening? Video going up. It's processing. In fact, it's probably done right now. Yeah, it looks like it's done right now. So I'll have a video up still tonight on Patreon, it looks like. Frank, how are you doing? I had one package lost for 19 days, and then they finally got the item, and the customer was cool about it. This is what I usually do when I have an issue with the customer. When you file that report on the USPS's site, copy the screen or the email. I think it's, did I copy the email or the screen? I think it's the screen. I think before they email you it too, but I think what you get is a screen that pops up. Copy that, Control-C, Control-V into the email message to those people, and let them know that you filed the report so they didn't have to mess with it. I would always do that regardless whether it's coming or going. I would always offer that as, something I would do. And then you let them know that you filed it. It could take 7 days for them to get back with you from that point. At least they know you're doing something. I would also let them know the tracking is tied to the listing. It's on eBay. It's not going anywhere, and it was there since the day you shipped it. I ship through eBay, as I said, so the tracking is up instantly as soon as I go ahead and mail the items. I always get them in the mail literally the day that I post them to. I never ever let anything sit or hang around here ever at all. It goes straight out 6 days a week, every single week. Let's see here. Let me slide down. Teresa, eBay is pushing me to do managed payments. I'm holding out. Are people still having issues with getting money? Do you have to ship item before you see deposit in your account? Yeah, you technically, I think, do have to ship the item before you see the money cleared, I should say. If you can have the money on a daily transfer basis, is what they're quoting. Again, I know sometimes they quote stuff and it doesn't always work out that way, so that's up in the air what will happen. Just like the glitch that I was talking about the other day, the one where people you block can still contact you. Again, now I haven't heard a single word back on, if they fixed it or anything else whatsoever from them. Last I heard is them trying to say that it's not happening because of offers to watchers, even though the only items that it's ever happened on were items that I just sent out within less than an hour from the time I got email contact from these people, offers to watchers. Both times it happened to me, and everybody else who's made comments or I've personally talked to about it have said it happened right after they sent out offers to watchers. I would be shocked as can be if that wasn't the case. Why out of 30,000 items I have up or whatever I have up on the store I share with you, the only 2 people that ever contacted me were over items that I sent offers to watchers on days within an hour of the time I'm doing it. I mean, Occam's razor, there's just no way that makes any sense. I'm not saying the person who told me that, and again, he's a department head, Brian or something, I don't remember his last name, but the point of it is that maybe that's what tech's telling him. Maybe they're not logging that information. You can log stuff that happens in the scripting. So when it hits a certain point, it does something, it logs what it does, and it logs what happens. Because I was told one of the buyers, I was told the name of the buyer, literally his account name, was who it went to, and it wasn't the guy supposedly that could contact me. Now, I don't know, but the point is on that one, I asked him if he got an offer from me, and from the conversation back and forth, it looked to me as if, and anybody was reading that yes, he was talking about an offer that I sent that he was unable to accept, and that was the whole issue. So I don't hold water in everything eBay says. Sorry to say, same thing with Amazon. I'm still fighting an issue with Amazon over Richard Pryor still, for those of you who know the Richard Pryor. Don't ever sell anything with Richard Pryor's name in it. Don't ever do it, because you're going to be in a stink with that for a while. They're going to block it. They're going to report it as a Vero on eBay or on Amazon. There's probably 24 performers that are like that too. But one that was supposed to have already been done with pops back up on Amazon the other day, and the item's been gone for I don't know how long. Anyway, I have to file another report over that. Just don't mess with Richard Pryor. I don't care what it is. I mean, the items that we were selling, we had every right to sell them, because they weren't something assigned from Richard Pryor's estate. It was something that Richard Pryor himself allowed and signed a contract with CBS to do. And anyway, I know I'm ranting. We'll hop off there. Let's see here. If you get paid with PayPal under managed payments, do you get charged fees for both? I would have to go back and look on that one too. I haven't really paid much attention to that. I'm not sure. I'll have to honestly go back and check on that. How do you file lost packages when locals said toll free and no one answers? You don't call anybody. It's, as I said, just go to their site. Yep, Dave Starr's got it down there. You can, as I said, you can just go to the main site and on the search box, just type in lost mail. That's all you got to do. And then it'll literally take you to where you need to go. Hang on, my feed's frozen up again. Gabe's saying you can call Consumer Affairs Office. That's not going to do anything for lost mail, just FYI. The only thing you can do is get in contact with the post office. Consumer Affairs won't. Nothing will happen that I'm aware of. Just like the Better Business Bureau, it's just a waste. I mean, in all honesty, once in the past, like 20 years ago, they did something for us, but, nothing to worry about. Are you a collector? How are you doing this evening? San Diego. Multiple U.S. sellers are being forced into management payment. If you're not in already, make sure you're ready for it early so your eBay account stays okay. Yeah, I've heard that too. I'm going to wait to the end of this month to do it on the account we share with you. And maybe I'll video it too and just show you what hiccups you have to go through. I'm not worried about anything like that, because basically that's what we have through Amazon already. It's the same basic thing. We already have that through Etsy and most of the other platforms we do, where it just goes through there anyway. So there's not much difference than what we're doing now. It's just you won't have that difference in PayPal. It'll all go through eBay, even if they're paying via PayPal, from what I understand. Again, you don't have a choice, so they're not going to change this one. They've got too much invested in it at this point. Let me slide down a little bit more. Yeah, Carl, same thing, forcing him in July. S. Berg, how are you doing? Thank you very kindly. Thank you as well, Carol Ann. That's my mom's name, too, literally, Carol Ann. Annie. Now, Annie's very, very, very knowledgeable. So if Annie says something, I'd pretty much take it as what's going on. eBay says that if you have an adult, coins, and some other items listed when you switch to managed payments, they will pull them down. Okay, well, that's not good. I keep having to revise my listings almost daily. Some keep changing to best offer, which isn't the way I like to sell. So that means if you have adult items and coins, you need to sell them ahead of time. That's the best I can tell you on that. Sell them before you switch over. I've got a bunch of adult magazines here, so that kind of makes me wonder. I'll have to look into that if they're planning on adding that to that, because that would be pretty bad to block that whole area. That shuts down a whole industry. I mean, that's a big drastic cut. I don't have a problem with somebody selling adult content, even if it's something I'm not interested in. It's freedom of, it's supposed to be, corporations and the whole works are, have some say on something like that, but I wish the fee would be taken out when the item sells. I'm pretty sure they take the fees out daily. Again, I didn't pay much attention. We just haven't had any issues with it. At the end of the month, the numbers are correct, so I don't really worry about what goes on. I mean, the fees they tell you are correct. The fees they tell you, the fee breakdowns, I can tell you 100% are correct with managed payments. I have not seen any issues, and I do compare dollar for dollar, cent by cent, versus before, to match it all out. The other account, we have a 25-cent or 30-cent handling fee. Same basic principle, as I said. If you haven't hit the like button too, I've got 170 or so people on right now. If you haven't hit that like button, I only have 57 likes. Hopefully you're enjoying the conversation here. As I said, I do try to get through everything and give you the best answers possible. I don't know it all, and I don't try to know it all, but I do try to give you relevant information. Don't leave MP for the last minute. There is a process to get approved, and if you wait, your account may go on hold. Yeah, I've heard that too. Again, we signed up for 1 to see. In all honesty, once you sign up, there's not much of an issue. I mean, I don't worry about when it pays me. I just have it set for, I think it's every week or something like that on the other one. I don't worry about that. I don't worry about it when it comes in, because I don't have to worry and watch that the payment comes immediately. And I'm not saying that it's wrong that some people may have to get the money immediately. I understand. I've been in that spot for years. 3 years of our life we're waiting for everything to sell and immediately being able to have to use that money right away. But hopefully you get to a spot where you don't have to worry about it. It just automatically comes in. Like on Amazon, I think every 2 weeks we have it set up to pay. I know we can change it. It's just always been that way, and I never worry about it at all. It's just the way it works out. Hang on. Here's Annie's got some more on that too. They say vaguely that they'll work on making it so you can sell those restricted items again. I bet you it probably has to do with some countries, and again, the company that's Pros-Aiden or whatever the name of the company is a foreign company, and I mean you can't sell that kind of stuff on Etsy. So I never honestly thought about it. It's the same company does Etsy. Maybe there's some issue with them handling it from their country, because again, it's probably processed over there, even though it's all digital. But anyway, I'm gonna definitely have to read into that in depth. Again, because I've got boxes of stuff, vintage 50s pinup style magazines here. Tootsie Avila, J. Crew, that's the one. Yeah, I knew there was some major company. I want to say there was another one a week or so ago too. But I said that was going to happen, and not to say, hey, I said that, but it's a given. Look up the information. Look up what's going on online. I mean, even going to business-related sites, just like the oil collapse and stuff. Oil is collapsing because the amount of people driving and flying is way down. Flights are so far down. Look at the flights, how many flights are flying, and they haven't cut the production of oil. So if you're not flying as much, and I mean way less, even the smog and pollution has gone down by drastic amounts from all of the lack of people being on the road. That's a fact. I mean, even scientifically, it's one of those things. Nordstrom closing 16 full-line stores. No more malls. Our mall was having trouble before this, and there's only one left. There used to be like 7 malls in this area where we're at, which is weird because one of them was built when I was a kid. It used to be an airport where they built one at, and then I move away, it goes under, and they try to do another mall. That's now one under, and there's literally nothing around here. Another one's a big parking lot now. They tore it down. The biggest nice child is gone. There's just one that survived, and it's got a lot of empty spots in it. So this might literally crush a lot of those businesses. It could be the end of the mall. I mean, I like walking around at the mall. I like looking at stuff in person. I hate buying stuff online because you never know what you're going to get. Now, I have to say, I have an account with Hollister, and I don't get a dime. I'm not any connection with Hollister whatsoever, but the shirts fit, and every one I've ever ordered matched what they said. And if you order off Amazon, oh my God, sometimes you have to order a couple different things to get what you want, because it'll show a picture of something, it shows up, it happens to be from China even though it says it's not, and then it's going to be some awful item that doesn't even look like the picture. That's like the biggest complaint. I had somebody offer me $50 I gave them a bad feedback because an item I got, and it's a cooling fan that goes underneath your laptops, and I bought a bunch of them, so I was irked. There's like, it's poor and shoddy. One of them, the little lever broke off. The plugs don't fit right. I mean, it's just, so I left a feedback and said, hey, I want to return these and blah blah blah. And I guess his account got dinged so many times from the same item that he has to get some of those removed. So he offered me 25, then he offered me 50. I don't do any of that. I'm not going to remove it for money. I could care less about his $50. I just wanted the item taken care of. I'm not out to get somebody's money. Just, you state something, it should be that way. But anyway, the mall, in my opinion, is at least you can look at it. Even if you don't buy it in person, you can try it on and then order it offline somewhere cheaper. That's usually what we do. I mean, I don't know what everybody else does, but every dime counts. And, why would I spend 10 or 20 bucks more just to buy it in a store when I can spend a few minutes trying it on, know it fits, and then just order it offline for 20 bucks cheaper? That's usually what I do, honestly. I mean, with the account too, like on Hollister, they were running like 60% off on a bunch of their stuff, free shipping. I came out so far ahead than going to the store. It was ridiculous. Again, I'm not trying to promote Hollister. It's just at the mall. I don't know. I like the shirts. Yeah, I have business accounts, bank accounts. Most banks, they're talking, Carl here with Duncan, are talking about a separate checking account. Most banks will give you a business account for free. And we got a couple, just for eBay, and we've got another one for something else, and then we have several personal accounts too. So always separate your money. Don't ever have everything go into a personal account, especially because all you need is your business license and usually your EIN. Once you get an EIN, you can go to the bank, and from the bank, they'll pretty much give you what you need for setting that all up. So just FYI, get a bank account. You can still do that now in a drive up. Our bank will allow somebody to come in as a prearranged time just for that. You'll sit in the lobby like, I don't know, 8-10 feet away, and they'll handle it there one at a time. So, I mean, it's still an option. You can do most of it online too, and then all you got to do is go in there and show proper ID. That is another thing you can do. Paying one, yeah, July is when they're requiring you to do it. eBay wasn't forced to sell PayPal BTC coins. It's the same type of thing that's going on now with them. We bought PayPal stock. I made enough to buy a car when they did that. I was on eBay and followed that very closely when they did that. They did not have to sell it. It's the same BS that they're doing now with them selling stuff up. And I know right now people are going to say, well, it looks like a better deal that they sold it. That wasn't their intention. They had no idea this was coming to sell it. And in all honesty, they might come out of ahead with government assistance and whatever else they're doing too. So, you never know. Carl, my sales are 80% over last year. Any year, it's nuts. Yeah, I don't have any time at all. Yeah, just like with Carl, that's my issue here. I've got no employees. It's just family. My kids will be done with school this week, so I'll have a little more help. So it's like me and Marky basically doing most everything. And I'm doing the same sites. We're selling more than we had been selling with the help. Now, I don't have help, so it's like a morning till night thing to keep it going. Again, I'm not complaining. My bank account has increased more in the last, say, 6 weeks than it probably has at any other time. Again, because I have no labor now, and I'm still selling more than I was before. So, I mean, you're talking thousands more. Every single month, I'm not paying out in labor, but I'm still getting the same amount of sales plus an increase over that. It's crazy. It is crazy. I was going to put something else in the title. Let the madness begin is what I was going to put in the title, because again, I'm shocked. I am really shocked that it is doing as well. The unemployment rate just hit with 33 million people, just new people went on unemployment, not counting the people that were already unemployed prior to that happening. It's crazy, but it depends on what you sell. The stuff that I sell, the majority of it is to people that are I'm not saying necessarily older, but that don't need the money. They're not worrying about a paycheck coming in, even if they're working for somebody. So I haven't seen much of a difference. If anything, they have more time to look, and they're not spending money on stuff that they would buy locally, so they're spending that extra money online is what it looks like. That's the best gist. And I'm not asking anybody. In some cases I've asked questions, but with what's going on, I don't want to ask and be prying at all, so I'm not going to investigate it any farther than that. But that seems to be what's going on. I don't have anything to show me that that's not the case. Everything seems to be rolling, I mean, better than it's fourth quarter plus another 15 or 20% is what I would say right now. This right now, and I'm not going to exaggerate that this is the best our company has ever done right this very second. I've never done this well in any business or any time in life other than right now. I mean, this could be a windfall for a lot of people reselling. You know, at the end of this, there should be a bunch more stuff that's going to be cheaper because of the amount of people that are selling stuff. So, I mean, could be a good windfall for a year or two in my book on selling it. People are going to be skittish. I'm not going to be interested in running out to a restaurant. Our county has the highest death rate in the entire state is right here in our county. And we also had one of the first cases. So I'm not rushing to go to a restaurant or anything like that. You know, we were just talking, me and Marky, you know, the night before about I'd love to go out to eat, and I would too, even if it's just like Olive Garden for, you know, soup and salad or something. Anything would have been nice, but it'd be nice just to be able to take the bikes out to the park because you can ride your bikes now. It's nice weather out finally. You know, I aired up the tires, and, you know, we take our bikes into a bike shop and have them tooled every year because we ride them hard sometimes too, and dirt and everything else. But anyway. Yeah, fulfillment's been my issue, trying to get everything going. Yeah, disputes. Yeah, Duncan again. Yeah, you definitely have to have separate bank accounts. I've got like accounts payable, accounts receivable, and then for art business, we've got like 7 different accounts, I want to say. Thanks, Carolina Picks. Oh, I've sold tons of vintage shirts, T-shirts, Gabe. My favorite are vintage rock shirts. The only problem is the last couple I ran into were concerts from, there were shirts locally, and there were concerts I had been to. One of them was the Aerosmith concert, and it was a raglan just like I had to keep it. Because I had that same shirt for Dude Looks Like a Lady. Permanent Vacation, I think was the name of the tour, maybe. And I had that shirt. I went to that concert, and I had to keep it, you know. I wished I wouldn't have got rid of it, or I think a girlfriend never gave it back to me. So the last 2 I kept, and another one was a White Snake shirt that, you know, I know David Coverdale. I don't say I'm like friends. I've met him a couple of times, I should say, David Coverdale, but I was a big White Snake fan. Another song, you ever get an earworm? I have Modern Day Cowboy in my head from Tesla. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's an 80s song. I hadn't heard it for years, forgot about it, and then it's stuck in my head. I like hair band music too, just as much as I do New Jack Swing and some of the early R&B. I like early rap, like Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Special Ed's great, stuff like that. Public Enemy, NWA, all the old school stuff I like. You know, I can hang with every hair banger in the day. I had hair down to my waist back in the day, so, you know, I love hair metal as well too. Slayer, South to Heaven, you can't beat that, you know. Queensryche I was listening to yesterday for quite some time. Operation Mindcrime, if you know what that is. 90s, I know. I do love concert shirts, though. That's the only type of clothing I honestly mess with, other than leather jackets. I love leather coats. I own probably 60, I think, at this point. You know, just vintage leather. You know, one of the ones that you see in videos in 1960s, Fight Club. It's the same company that made the Fight Club jacket. That's one of the few clothing items that might be worth selling. Yeah, as I said, I sell those. I still do baseball caps occasionally. If I find like some real nice boots or vintage shoes that I know I can quick flip, I'll do those too. I don't go out and look for them. If I'm like stumped somewhere and I can't find anything else, I'll always go to the jacket section. I'll check vintage shoes and things. I had found a pair at Goodwill for like $2. They were lime green leather. I don't know what they're called. They had real high heels, and it was a guy's, you know, men's shoes, and, you know, they had a couple bucks on them. I instantly, you know, nabbed something like that. That's the kind of thing that I grab. I grab occasionally like mod 60s psychedelic clothing too. You know, even if we don't sell it. The wife's got a horrendous amount of vintage clothing. Sometimes the kids will dress up and stuff, or we'll dress up and take some screwball photos and stuff. We do that all the time, honestly. Now, I shot some images or some clips of me dressed as Walter White. I may put them in a video one of these days, but I do stuff like that. If you've seen me, not this past Halloween, but the Halloween before that, I dressed up in full costume for Gene Simmons. So if you type in, and I gave away something, somebody was talking about a giveaway. I gave away a giveaway that evening as well, too. I think you had to say I'm not Gene Simmons to win and be the 10th person or something like that. Yeah, 80s sell great. Older stuff even better. I saw a Elvis concert shirt from like 57 or 58 go for like $980 not too long ago. RK Treasure Center, how are you doing this evening? We are doing very well on our end. Do I want to comment on Disney World closed? When I worked there, Disney closed for a whopping 4 hours once after Katrina ran. Was it Katrina? No, it wasn't Katrina. Shoot, I don't remember what hurricane, but there was a hurricane or a tropical storm. They delayed opening once the entire time I was there. It won't hurt Disney in my book. I looked at financials. We had stock in Disney. When you first joined the company, they offered you immediately, when you walked into their room to sign up your paperwork and stuff, asked if you wanted to invest your money into into Disney stock, which we did back in the day. We did very well on Disney stock, mind you, too. But yeah, let's not go too far into the Disney conversation. But yeah, I'm not bothered. They can afford it. You know, even if everything closed down, their TV and rights, they spent $4 billion on Marvel or Star Wars, something like that. Carl wanted the clown. You know, I've got another one setting up here. I painted 3 the other day and sold 2 of them. Maybe I'll have to give away another clown. You know, I make those, so I've got a bunch I can throw together. I think I've got like 5 I've cast, just because the resin was sitting out. You don't want to keep the resin sitting too long, but I'm making new stuff too, smaller stuff that'll be easier to mount, cheaper to buy, and the whole works. We're making stuff that's going to be carded like on a Star Wars card. We already got all the designs. I got a vacuum former. We've already made the bubbles ourselves here even too. I do stuff like that. I'm not calling it out until it's out in the market so no one can steal the idea. Just FYI. Howdy from Deadwood in the South Dakota, currently snowing, can't believe it. Tiffany Sue, I watched the show Deadwood. I don't know how many people watch that. Oh, Duncan, 2 years ago I won Don's Halloween postcard artist signed. You were the one, Duncan. Thanks for bringing that up. I forgot who won that. It's kind of hard to remember some. I've given away dozens of things in the past. I know there's channels that do it and stuff. I don't do stuff to draw people in. I'm not trying to. I'd rather just give out the information. I mean, just honesty. I'm not a gimmicky person. I don't do a bunch of gimmicks. I have a paid Patreon group, but that's about it. I don't offer a course or anything. I don't get into that, I guess. It's just not my thing. You know, Patreon's about it. I mean, for $10 you get I think 158 videos. I think 158th is going up today. I mean, that's how, and they're all like 30-minute videos. Anyway, that's about the only gimmicky thing I do. Gary in Daytona, how are you doing this evening? I think you might have an email that I need to answer. Anybody in Patreon, I'm going to get to the emails for sure tomorrow. I'm pushing to get the video up tonight, though. Just FYI. It's on records, as I said. What's the hottest thing selling right now? Oh, I missed the giveaways, but that sounds okay. Sounds like a lot of trouble. I like my vacuum vac to clean records. Paul Tidwell. There's a lot of technical devices that you can get. In fact, I got an influencer page on Amazon, and I've got 5 or 6, I think, of the top cleaners. Now, I've used them. I've seen them in person, so I can tell you without a doubt the ones that I have links to on that page are all good ones. Again, they're going to be expensive for the really good ones here. I don't know on his vacuum vac that he's got. There's a thing you can make. There's a video or 2 on YouTube that you can find on making a vac and a cleaning thing where you can just spin your records and stuff like that too. But, you know, it doesn't take rocket science. You can wash them by hand and come out with really good, top-notch results. Not as good as a cleaner, of course, but, you know. Linda Vadden, how are you doing? Thank you very kindly. Do you keep up with your vast amount of inventory by line item on a spreadsheet with cost, sell price, profits? No, I do not do it that way. There'd be no way on earth I could do it that way. It would be physically impossible. All my time would go to inventorying. This week alone, I got, and a lot of it's in buttons and things. I got like 10,000 auctions worth. And I'm not exaggeration at all. I think in the videos on Patreon, you can just see, I think I dumped like 20 pounds of buttons on the table or something. You can just see the massive quantity, and that's not an exaggeration. Tax-wise and filing-wise and inventory-wise, you need to look into it with an accountant. That's all I'm going to say on that. What works for one business and one company may not work for someone else. Everything you do in accounting, you have to be able to justify by one means or another. There's different rules, there are different regulations for how you do stuff like that based on many different factors. Now, I've got a couple businesses, so one of my businesses is based on time invested into it. It's something you have to make. So I've got a different structure in many areas than most people may have. Again, I have accountants that do it, so everything I do is legal and handled correctly by the federal law. A lot of people are surprised on how you can and can't do things, but I would honestly just go to the post office, or not the post office, the government site, and look up for small business. There's also a book called, I think the name of it's How to Run a Small Business and Not Get in Trouble with the IRS. I think that's literally the name of the book, if I'm not mistaken, and it goes into a lot of details on that. For like inventory, depending on how much you make, dictates what way you have to do for your business, and then in any other way or deviation from that, you have to justify it and a bunch of other stuff. So, I'll just shout that out there. Now, at the end of the day, obviously, I have a profit and loss statement, as I said. So, hang on just a second. Annie's got my feed's frozen. Hang on. Here's the policy on the eBay help pages. Sellers enroll in managed payments are not allowed to list the following items: adults-only items, including movies and video games, bullion coins and paper money, plus more. Oh, I like how they say plus more. Listings that don't follow these rules may be removed from the site or from search results. Other actions may be taken, including lowering a seller's rating, charging additional fees, limiting buying and selling privileges, or suspending an account. Well, that's pretty, pardon me, but crappy. If somebody's just changing over and they have to know all this stuff, what if that's like half their business? Now, they're supposed to have the global shipping activated for it, and they're stating that in the thing, too, that you can use global shipping with managed payments. My other account, I don't ship overseas almost never, so... Yeah, Vinyl Vac, I know what you're talking about. I figured it was one of those things. A solution cleaner is the best. Obviously, you want to vacuum them off first, of course. I use stamp.com. Well, if you ship through eBay, Susan, you get a discount. I don't know if you're getting a discount through stamps.com. And what they tell you on one thing doesn't mean anything based on what eBay does. So I keep it on eBay, and I only... Yeah, I'm not sure on what you're trying to say on that, I guess. There's some good buyers in China and Japan and other parts of Asia. I always ship there tracked. Yeah, I track everything. Every single thing I ship is tracked. If it can't go tracked, I don't ship it. First Class International is tracked. Hey, Penny, how are you doing this evening? Good to see you in here. Haban, how are you doing? Is Wholesale Ninja's a good place for newbie? Now, you're going to hear, I had a lot of people say they've had issues with bulk. In all honesty, if you're paying attention, you file a report and dog on them for that, I haven't had any issues with them. Wholesale Ninjas, that's an iffy one. Bulk.com, I think I've had probably the best luck with out of the two that we've dealt with at all. I don't do bulks only due to space. If I had to do it again, I would buy bulk in a certain category. And I mentioned that in that other video, what category we did the best in. And it just depends. I wouldn't mess with clothing. I don't like electronics. I stick away from that. Now, before we bought the bulk purchase, we waited. I looked for a week or two, literally, constantly. Every time they posted something new, I was right there checking it out until we finally found something that I was able to research and knew without a doubt we were going to make money. And for the cost I paid for it, it was like 10 cents on the dollar, and we were getting full cost for that item on Amazon. So I can't complain. I sold all of them in a very short period of time. It was in season for those items. It was peak season for those items, and it was like a blessing. We originally thought we were going to do kind of bad when we saw it. You know, we were like, what did we do? But it turned out very well for us. That's all I can say. I don't know what anybody else's experiences with bulk, but ours was fairly good. That's all I can tell you. Again, if you haven't hit the like button, I got 175 people in the house and 84 likes. I'm used to seeing those dislikes. I don't know why people watch if they're just going to sit there and dislike it, but I guess that's their prerogative. Hang on, let me see here. Hang on, I saw Duncan. Yeah, I just sold one of those China pictures, Duncan. Now that you say that, I got 95 out of a little tiny... it was a parade, a China parade in like 1927, and I had a bunch of them, so I did very well. I was very happy with that. There goes my feed again. Hang on, now I gotta figure out where I was at. I'm gonna have to cut it off here in just a few minutes. Hang on just a second here. Yeah, I'm already past 8. I know I said it would only go till 8. Let me just figure out where I was at. Let's see here. Annie, here we are. Annie says, I find Wholesale Ninjas very user-friendly. Just read all the info and make sure you know what you're buying. Yeah, that's... Even with bulk. Now, I've had people say, well, they got their bulk purchase and it wasn't in the condition it was supposed to be in and all that kind of stuff. I would contact them. They've got a 7-day policy for that. Contact them within 7 days of receiving the item and state what was physically wrong, and they're supposed to give you credit. I personally know people who've gotten the credit they requested and stated. They sent some pictures and all that kind of stuff. You know, it just depends on how you handle stuff, I guess. Is there a way to ship UPS with eBay managed payments? There's no FedEx near me. I mean, I'd still be using the post office, truthfully. I have a Chinese picture is oblong and cut out on top on color. Do you have any ideas about it? I haven't been able to find anything on it. China photos, it just depends on the China photos themselves. I mean, if you're talking about like hand-tinted ones, those are really good ones too. If it's a downtown scene of like Kowloon or something like that that's been hand-tinted, oh my God, those things go for some good money. One went for like $2,600. It was just a bit smaller than 8x10, but it was all hand-tinted. It had street signs beyond belief. If you've seen some of my earlier videos with photos and stuff in it, I show some of our Kowloon images in Hong Kong and Shanghai, and all of that sort of thing sells like mad. I mean, you get some mad bucks for Chinese military vintage items and things like that, too. I sold a military ID for around $1,000 not too long ago as well. I've got some documents signed by some, and one of them is a relative of Chiang Kai-shek, and it's on a U.S. ship, and it's a document that they signed when they passed over the date zone line. What's it called? The crew of Neptune or something like that. But they're signed by these people. I'm expecting like 500 to 1,000 a piece on those. I better cut this off, not to be rude, but it is past what I said I would go to, and I try to keep to my time frame here. I still have a call to deal with in about 20 minutes, and I don't want to be late. I still want to get something to eat, so I do apologize for running off on everybody. Again, thank you for coming on. Thanks for spending the evening here. I've got another video. We're going to talk about some new changes to the free boxes eBay gives you out tomorrow. They got a new one. We're going to discuss it. You'll see what you can do with this thing. It's probably one of the best changes I've seen in that whole thing in quite some time. But that's it. Again, I am going to be processing and getting that video up for Patreon as well. And I hope everybody has a good evening.